Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. So let me go over it quick because I want to get out there for earnings. Market pulled in. We tried to identify levels that could hold for this accelerated uptrend to remain intact. Went about 10, 15 cents below. That's why we treat it as a zone, and we bounced off it. You look at the chart right here of the SPX, you will see this is the gradual uptrend that we've been following, and then here's the accelerated one. We tagged that line and did not close below it. We actually rallied off of it. So if you're holding hedges, that's your spot to cover and keep maneuvering while you're holding positions because there's still a lot of strong stocks out there. Obviously, it's hard to stay with the rally when it's just continuing up like this, but I've seen this happen and stay like this for a while. So until we break this low of today in the next few days or so, I would say you have to stay the course. As far as some trades and stocks, we've been targeting. AKS came out with earnings. They weren't great, but we said if it goes positive, it could be good for X. AKS, came in and it went positive. And if you look at the chart here, you will see that nice little tail here. If you bought the down open around 9, you did well. I didn't trade this one, but I traded X because I like the pattern here. Nice tight pattern. Got a little stronger, closed near the highs of the day, right at resistance. This thing looks like it wants to go higher, so I'm going to stay with it. It's tight. It is a laggard, but it looks okay. Crocs was a nice little trade today, trying to get going, trying to get in this gap. I think it could continue. DNDN woke up a little bit. If you look at this chart, it looks pretty good. Some talk about a takeover by Amgen, but who knows as far as the chart's concerned. It starts to get above this area. Look at all to the left how much room you have there. As far as some of the casinos, still hanging around. LVS went from negative to positive. Win went from, it's hanging out here. This is a nice little pattern here on Win. It closed pretty well above 119, and this thing looks good. As far as some other stocks, some other trades, I think Shield was still weak. If you were trailing it from this Red Dog reversal where it pushed through and came back below, it did try and rally a little bit, but it was a nice add to the low here of 46.97 and gave you another $1. I still think it could work its way a little bit lower. Nice day-and-a-half strategy as of now, and who knows, it could lead to more. The crazy stock of the day was this BVSN. Oh my goodness, what a maniac run. Nice breakout from down here, at what, 11.44 a share. A big move, held up, just started to go and go and go. There was some word about a stock promoter involved in there. It's an air stock as far as some of the reports out. All I know is that this to me is a huge topping tail. So at this point, we got bailed out. It wasn't an easy trade as far as like your intraday. At first, if you look over here, I did a little video on it. It pushed real quick, put a little tail in, started getting involved a little early, and then regrouped. Definitely scared me a little bit. I did cover as it traded through this 37.43, a portion of it. I held some, which definitely was painful against some of my rules. Then you had this major move right when I was going in to do the video, and then Herb came out with some news saying, this is a promoted stock, da-da-da-da, and pow. So, I made some money back there on that, and then it continued, lower, closed near the lows of the day, below the previous day's high to put into play the daily chart of this Red Dog reversal topping tail, on volume, put the volume there, and you will see that it had major volume into that, so this should be, a rest, and who knows, when the air comes out, these things get hit very, very fast, so we'll see what happens here. As far as, some other plays, there were some one-offs. Google, some guys shorted it below that 581. It made you $4 or $5. Sperling was all over that. Baidu, Amazon, really not much going on there. So there were some nice trades. The dip was viable again. It's still a little shaky as far as where we are in the market. You definitely need some hedges on, but you could still find those select trades that can make you money, but you have to play them right. BVSN could have been crazy, if you just cost averaged it up and closed your eyes. I know it was close and it was hard for it to sustain it no matter what, but still, a lot of people said that with Netflix way back when, but obviously this is far from that. So at this point, short some overnight. We'll see how we open up in the morning, but again, the stock is being pushed by promoters and people all over, and I think they're using old news. Tim Sykes, actually, I'm going to cite him. He had a really good write-up today. It's on Twitter. Take a look at it about what they've been saying and how it's been old news. And at this point, just a trade amongst a lot. There are a lot of trades today. You have to kind of tighten it up because there was erratic action here and there. But X was a nice trade. The casinos went positive. The banks hung around. You look at Goldman Sachs, still hanging in there. Nice move from the earnings and still going sideways, looking like it wants to tag this moving average around 117. You look at something like Morgan Stanley, hanging around also, holding the gap, so the banks are still holding in there. I even think that the HGX kind of reversed a little bit towards the end of the day. So nice little move. You remember from Jim Cramer's thing, above 101, it could hit 120, 130. Well, it hit 120, and nice little pull-in right here. It could continue. OAHs, take a quick look, still holding. You know, this breakout, this was that tier 2, if you remember. You know, you bought it when it triggered above 118, sold some above 125, and I'm still staying the course. Looks higher, you know, really constructive. So a lot of constructive charts, even though we're overbought, and markets could stay overbought for a while. So don't be short on the brain. Obviously, you need a hedge. You could short individual plays, but you know, the real money's been for the last 4 weeks rotating, holding positions, massaging them. Look at Walmart. Talked about that as my retail stock of the year. Nice little trade to almost 62. This also on the monthly chart, trying to break out a little bit, you know, or maybe get a better look at the weekly. You know, a lot of good action out there. So with all that said, I did take some options into Apple just because, you know, we've traded this back and forth. I was dead wrong with Google and IBM. You know, who knows? Just a little bit. I took some of the 425 calls, so we'll see what happens there. I only take little options into the earnings, and then I usually trade it afterwards, which usually is much more profitable. But just in case, you know, I've been sending them notes to split their stock 3, 4 for 1. I know Tim dropped the ball on the last quarter. This is a very important quarter for them. I have to believe that they try and put their best foot forward. So with that, you know, with the $10 pull-in, you know, the risk reward was a little bit better. So we'll see what happens. Either way, another interesting day. Tomorrow will be another one. Have a great night. Scott Redler, T3 Live.